Aloha mai kako. Welcome aboard Ho'olohe Airlines, where we inspire to listen with heart. As we prepare for takeoff, we would love to present Ho'olohe Radio to get you onboarded with the realities of Hawaii. So please fasten your seatbelts, relax, and we also invite you to pick up your phones to see the augmented reality of this paradise through the window. This month's feature for Ho'olohe Radio, we have two Hawaii-grown creatives to chat about Hawaii tourism from a local's perspective. I introduce from the island of Oahu, Sir Cornwell and Karen Abe.
Aloha mai kako, everyone. My name is Sir Cornwell.
And my name is Karen Abe. I am a Hawaii-grown media artist, and Sir is a native Hawaiian actor. To start off the conversation, I want to jump into the history and founding of tourism. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about Hawaii tourism.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is that it didn't just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was something that was definitely built with intention. So after Hawaii was illegally annexed by the U.S., a lot of the U.S. annexationists who were in Hawaii actually took lead to develop tourism.
Right.
I think first Hawaii was this stopping point for a lot of like naval sailor. The first ads were like a sexy hula girl and like a naval like sailor.
Ugh, that makes me like want to throw up.
Yeah. But yeah, then one of the biggest investments were done by Matson, the shipping company. Like had invested in the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, and it was built so it had like kitchens and like different rooms, and it was mostly to cater to families now. So now it was marketing Hawaii to become a place for family vacation.
Family vacation, yeah.
Right. So yeah, all the investors and all the people, the founding of tourism was made by white Americans for white mainland Americans, right?
Yeah. Like a money grab.
Yeah.
I think it's also important to acknowledge tourism itself contributes to the erasure of our culture.
Did you want to go deeper into that perhaps?
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit, you come to Hawaii, you post all these photos, you highlight and show what the media wants to see, but you don't highlight the significant parts of our culture and also the parts that are gross and ugly and things that should come to light. You know, like Hawaii has a huge homeless problem that no one ever wants to talk about. Hawaii has like so many struggling natives no one wants to talk about. They just want to post their toes in the sand at Waikiki Beach.
Toes in the
You know what I mean?
Yeah, very much true.
A lot of like the stuff tourism like promotes about Hawaii is so glamorized and fake and just contributes to that erasure. You know what I mean?
I'm so glad you brought that up because I kind of wanted to bring up a term called cultural prostitution.
Yeah.
I
do know what that is.
Do you know what that is? Yeah. So Haunani K. Trask, amazing educator. I think she was the one who actually built the Native Hawaiian Studies Department at UH. You know, this intelligent woman, she coined this term called cultural prostitution. I love how this term actually has a whole metaphor to it. Haunani K. Trask mentions how Hawaii is like this woman, like this figure, right?
Yeah.
And she is being sold by her pimp, which is the tourism authority, the state of Hawaii, selling to the Johns, which is the tourists. And it is kind of a prostitution format where the more the John pays, the more secret and intimate places they can access.
Yeah.
The more money you pay, you get to access more sacred parts of the land and secret beaches, which is never like better for the actual Hawaii like her. And hula is used as an example of cultural prostitution. As I mentioned earlier, they would market Hawaii to be like, oh, come see the hula girls, right?
Yeah.
And the image of coconut bras, grass skirt is very much a sexualized version of what hula is.
Yeah.
And hula is like this really sacred form of storytelling.
100%. It's very sacred.
Right.
Very. Yeah.
But now through tourism, it's used in these, you know, luau's, and it's now commercialized,
Very.
right? So in that way, like, culture has been prostituted.
Which is really sad. And I don't know if you also feel this way. I feel like there's like pressure. It feels as though like we're slowly getting like pushed away.
I fully agree. It's like on a more like day-to-day level, to describe it to the audience, it's kind of like, you know, you want to go get poke and you go to line. You go there and it's a huge, ridiculous line.
Yeah.
So we had to leave, and everyone in line is tourists.
Yeah.
Hawaii also suffers from over-tourism, and this was a term coined by a Kanaka Maoli historian. He goes by Adam Keawe Manalo Kemp, and they talk about how over-tourism is about how one destination is visited by an excess number of tourists and therefore creates environmental impact and damages, but also artificial inflation is a term that they use. And it's when tourists who are obviously able to afford higher prices and stuff because they're already visiting, have the money, and they are there to lavishly spend, create this like temporary demand, like prices go up, and this results gentrification to happen, and residents are priced out of their own homes.
Yeah. I relate to that a lot because a lot of my family members left Hawaii due to like prices being high, and also because they grew up in a time where it wasn't cool to be Hawaiian and they wanted to be something else, and that's really painful and sad. And it's a lot of pressure on me because being the first person in my entire like Hawaiian lineage to graduate from Kamehameha, to sort of be that person to open those doors again and to, I guess, bring that awareness back into space. I feel like it's such a hard thing to talk about. And, tourism, sometimes it does help with a lot of local businesses.
Thank you so much for sharing. And jumping off of that point, I've seen like people on social media like fighting in the comments, and Hawaii people are like, don't come visit right now, it's not a good time, or like don't come visit at all. There are people in the comments who are from the mainland are like, what do you mean, you guys need us, you guys need tourism like to survive, which I think is a crazy argument because tourism provides jobs, but what kind of jobs?
Yeah.
Right? Like, are they living wages? Like, does it keep up with the high cost of living? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Right.
So it's like when you say you're providing jobs, like you have to think about what jobs you're even providing.
Yeah.
And when people are like, oh, but Hawaii, the only thing Hawaii can do is like tourism for its economy. And it's like, no, like we used to be.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up. I believe like we were the most literate people, and also like we were able to create a system that worked so well that there was almost 1 million Native Hawaiians. We were able to function and live and thrive. I've seen so many acts of people and think about how we lived back then,
Right?
How we can implement that in our modern day lives.
Right.
And I've seen it done before. Like I've gone to lo'is.
Yes.
Where they've lived completely off grid. They provide for their, I don't know, it's
community.
so possible. Yeah.
Absolutely. And in Hawaii, when communities and legislators are talking about how to pivot the tourism industry, agriculture is always an alternative that's being discussed.
Yeah.
So lastly, to answer one of the most common questions about ethical tourism in Hawaii, I personally think that with the current systems and structures, there is no way to ethically visit the islands.
Yeah, there is no way.
Yeah.
As a tourist, you're going to inevitably support these exploitative structures.
Yeah, because regardless, you're going to contribute.
And also because Hawaii is stolen land, I think
Yeah.
there's ethically is never the right word.
Yeah.
And instead, I try to use the word responsibly because I think there are ways tourists can be a little bit more responsible when visiting the islands, minimizing their impact and maybe giving back more to the local community. So, I encourage all tourists to do their due diligence by doing their research, talking to people who are from Hawaii.
And I think this also brings up a great conversation of tourism as a whole, and, obviously within Hawaii, but everywhere else as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is a conversation beyond just Hawaii. And to wrap up, I hope Sir and I were able to provide another perspective of Hawaii and inspire you to go a little bit deeper into understanding our island beyond the image of paradise.
Mahalo, Sir and Karen, for an amazing conversation. Here at Ho'olohe Airlines, we also provide resources to navigate tourism responsibly in Hawaii. These materials can be accessed via our in-flight entertainment screen and brochure located in the front seat pocket. As we get ready to touch down, we encourage you to explore these materials and even take home a brochure as a souvenir of knowledge. Ahui ho! Until we meet again.